From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at Noon, streaming now.
I mean, to the community, just keep fighting for my brother, your family, everybody.
There will not be a criminal case, but activists say their fight is not over. Coming up, what happens next in the Drejon Reed case now that a grand jury has spoken. Will the spike in COVID-19 pandemic mean more restrictions here? We'll show you how. We're just a few hours away from finding out. But before we get to those top stories, I want to thank you for joining us here on the News at Noon for your lunch hour on this Wednesday. Happy Veterans Day to all of those people who have served our country here in our Hoosier State and across the country. We have a pretty good day, it looks like, outside. Todd, some sunshine coming through for our forecast, but it's cooler out there, right?
Yeah, much cooler than what we've been experiencing the past couple afternoons, Lauren. We've already been in the 70s. Not the case here across the area, but the good news is at least we have the sunshine. We had the clouds earlier this morning and still a few showers that were lingering, but those have now cleared out, and the temperatures right now across the area sit in the 30s and 40s. 38 in Peru, 45 in Indy, 49 in Bloomington. There's a little bit of a breeze out there still as well, so that's making this feel even a little bit cooler across the area, so you definitely need to have the jacket handy if you are going to be outside for any extended period of time here this afternoon and especially this evening. Now, the rain, as we mentioned, is pushed off to the east. There's some high thin clouds and spots across the area, but those too will depart, and we will be left with a dry forecast going forward here throughout the remainder of the afternoon. So enjoy the sunshine. Just bundle up a little bit. We've already hit our high temperature for the day today. That was shortly after midnight. We'll get back to right around 50 degrees this afternoon for your afternoon high. That'll be right around 4 p.m. But look how quick the temperatures fall off this evening when the clear skies already down to 43 by 8 p.m. More on the extended forecast, Lauren, coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. More demonstrations are expected later today following the announcement that no criminal charges would be filed in the police shooting death of Drejon Reed. That decision was announced Tuesday evening by the special prosecutor in the case. Reed was killed by IMPD officer DeJour Mercer following a police chase that turned into a foot chase back in May. Indiana State Police provided evidence that shows that Reed fired 2 shots at the officer, something the attorney for Reed's family has denied. The special prosecutor was emotional in announcing the grand jury's decision, while Reed's sister joined a large group of peaceful protesters who say justice was not served.
I don't know how Mr. Reed's mother feels, but I'm a mother of 2 black boys. I also am very empathetic toward Officer Mercer. I know that that had to be a difficult position to be in.
My brother is not resting well. There's no way. So now we got to go on every day. I got to have my son. We got to go on every day with life. My brother can't, see his nephew coming into this world. He can't enjoy his niece anymore, his mother, his father, his other 2 sisters.
Dozens of demonstrators marching through downtown streets last night, as you can see here. Indy 10 Black Lives Matter has indicated there will be more demonstrations downtown later today. A federal lawsuit is ongoing in the Drejon Reed case, but now that the grand jury has made this decision, we wanted to find out what's next for the criminal case. Our own Rafael Sanchez spoke to defense attorney Ralph Staples, who has served as a special prosecutor in the past.
Can any of the information that was gathered by that grand jury, can that be used in any other legal matters? In other words, is this case closed?
Right now, as it stands, the case is closed. Now, there may be some plaintiff's attorney on behalf of the decedent's family who may try to get access to that information, but grand jury secrecy laws prohibit that information from being released. Now, they may fashion a legal argument and go to a court, either state or federal, and try to force disclosure of that material. But right now, there is no basis for that material to be released, and we can assume that it may not ever see the light of day.
If the grand jury testimony is recorded, but it can't be shared, what's the purpose of having it recorded?
It can be shared in the event of an indictment. If someone who's a target of the grand jury, if there's a finding that probable cause exists for them to be charged with criminal conduct, they then have a right to access to what would be called the prior sworn testimony of the witnesses called by the grand jury. It would be turned over by the state in the discovery process. That's why those transcripts, the recordings would be transcribed and then they'd be produced.
At this point, though, whatever happened among those grand jurors will not be known by the public. Is that correct?
Exactly. Grand jury secrecy laws prohibit disclosure of any materials presented to the grand jury. And now that there's been a no bill, this case is essentially over.
Ralph Staples, thank you so much for joining us.
Very welcome.
Well, as you know, that we've been following that case for months now, and you can find everything about the investigation, as well as both press conferences from state police and the special prosecutor, Rosemary Curry, online right now at WRTV.com. There you will also find statements from city leaders, IMPD, and others. Indiana has set another record for coronavirus cases in a single day. Moments ago, the state health department reported 5,156 new cases. That's the second time Indiana has surpassed 5,000 cases in one day. 31 additional deaths were also reported today, and that pushes the state past the 4,500 deaths related to COVID-19 since the pandemic began. And COVID-19 hospitalizations are again at a record level, as more than 2,500 Hoosiers are now being treated for the virus in a hospital. Butler University says that it's seeing a dramatic increase in COVID-19 cases on campus. The school says 46 of its students and 4 employees currently have the virus, and another 179 students are in quarantine as a result. Clusters of the positive cases have been found in 3 Greek houses as well as the women's soccer team. Butler students are subject to punishment if they've been found to have violated the school's COVID-19 guidelines. We'll find out just a few hours from now if the spike in COVID-19 cases will mean a rollback of Governor Eric Holcomb's Back on Track Indiana plan. Indiana has remained at stage 5 despite the increase in cases, and as of now, the state's mask mandate is scheduled to expire on Saturday. The governor will address all of that at 2:30 this afternoon, and you can watch it live right here on WRTV. We also have it for you at WRTV.com, on our Facebook page, and on your favorite streaming platforms such as Roku, Amazon, Fire Stick, and Apple TV. Today is Veterans Day, and people all across Indiana are pausing to honor those who have served our country. In Beech Grove here this morning, the city held its annual Veterans Day service outside City Hall. Several other towns and cities are observing the holiday virtually because of the pandemic. And we wanted to pause and thank Army Sergeant First Class Rhonda Seward. She sent us these pictures, as did a number of other military veterans, and we're highlighting their service along with a number of restaurants and other businesses offering specials for veterans today. You can find all those details and those pictures right now on our website. Just go to WRTV.com. The president-elect working towards a transition of power, but the current president in the White House will not concede. Next, we'll have the latest on the stalemate happening right now in Washington. Todd.
And Lauren, yesterday we were talking about near record high temperatures. Today we've returned to normal. How much cooler is it than 24 hours ago? At this noon hour, some locations over 30 degrees cooler. In fact, Lafayette, 35 degrees cooler than 24 hours ago, near 30 degrees in Indianapolis as well. That puts us in the 40s. We'll let you know where temperatures are going as we head towards the weekend, coming up in your WRTV Storm Team forecast.
Welcome back to the news at noon. The latest now on the tension over the presidential transition. President Trump refusing to concede the election this 5 days after Joe Biden was projected as the next president-elect. ABC's Rena Roy says the lawsuits from the president's lawyers continue now as Biden turns his focus to the transition.
As President Trump refuses to back off his claims that there was massive fraud in the election, President-elect Joe Biden is remaining calm and pushing forward, reassuring Americans that President Trump's defiance won't stop his administration from transitioning into power.
We don't see anything as slowing us down, quite frankly.
This as the current president still insists we will win. His campaign still filing long-shot legal challenges, nearly all of which have been thrown out of court. Judges finding no evidence of voter fraud. Most Republicans in Congress declining to publicly state Biden is the president-elect, and Secretary of State Mike Pompeo going further, perpetuating the false narrative that Trump could still win.
There will be a smooth transition to a second Trump administration.
William Cohen, a Republican and former Secretary of Defense during the Clinton administration, telling CNN.
Well, my reaction is the way in which they're conducting themselves is more akin to a dictatorship than a democracy.
President-elect Joe Biden seeming to find the reluctance to accept his victory sad.
I just think it's an embarrassment quite frankly. And so far, there is no evidence of any of the assertions made by the President or Secretary of State Pompeo. Secretary of State Pompeo.
People close to the president tell ABC News he does know the election is over, yet still he is creating doubt in the results. There is growing concern of the lasting effect that this could have on American democracy. Rena Roy, ABC News, Wilmington, Delaware.
Well, the pandemic has not only been a challenge to the physical health of our Hoosiers, it's also impacting mental health as well. Next, how medical professionals are coping with battling the virus up close for much of the year. And let's take a live look outside right now. From our tower camera here downtown, you can see some fair clouds there in the sky, but overall a sunny day here. Cooler temperatures, and Todd Clausen will tell us more details looking ahead to the rest of the week and the weekend coming up. Welcome back. While doctors and nurses are also dealing with an increase in COVID-19 patients, emergency room staff are also seeing an increase in people coming in for mental health issues. WRTV's own Alyssa Donovan found out how this is impacting the local healthcare systems.
In IU Health's large emergency departments, 1 in 4 people coming in are seeking behavioral health assistance, and doctors say resources are starting to run thin.
A lot of the inpatient units are reaching capacity.
The amount of people who need mental health care has greatly increased this year.
Compared to 2019, we are seeing about double the amount of patients coming into our emergency departments with a primary diagnosis of behavioral health.
IU Health is not the only healthcare system feeling the impact.
The clinics that we treat anxiety, depression, addiction, we've seen our biggest increase in access to care at those clinics.
Eskenazi Health Clinics have seen a 35% increase in people seeking mental health care in just the past 3 months. And the increase in patients is taking a toll on healthcare workers. Eskenazi is providing time for staff to talk with the supervisor.
To talk about tough cases, things that are going on for them, how they're kind of coping with all the changes that we have had to do in response to the pandemic.
IU Health is also providing support for workers. They're getting ready to start a peer support program as well as counseling.
We're trying to help each and every person that we can in the way they need help. I will tell you that it is difficult.
If you are experiencing depression, anxiety, or suicidal ideation, you can start with your primary care physician. And if you need to, you can walk into any emergency department for help or call a mental health hotline. I'm Alyssa Donovan, WRTV.
Alyssa, thank you. Eskenazi Health does have a mental health line that you can call if you think you need help. That number's on your screen. It's 317-880-8491. We also have more mental health resources available right now at WRTV.com. And WRTV getting ready for the holiday season with you. Our annual toy drive kicks off Saturday at Christmas Nights of Lights at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. The holiday display is a drive-through format. $1 for every ticket sold on Saturday will go to the WRTV Toy Drive. Thank you for supporting that effort. All right, it is time to get a check of our forecast, Todd. The Toy Drive is coming up. The Christmas season is right around the corner, and it is cooling off here after some really nice warm days in central Indiana.
Yeah, you know, it's starting to finally feel like it should in the middle of November, Lauren. We had 3 days in a row that we hit a record high temperature for Indianapolis. That's the first time that has ever happened in the city of Indianapolis. So that was some pretty rare air we were in for a long period of time. But we are back down right now to 45 degrees. You can see all the sunshine as you look from downtown off towards the southwest past Lucas Oil Stadium. But there's a bit of a breeze out there, northwest at 12 miles per hour. And that's making it feel right now like it's 39 degrees in Indy. The actual temperatures are in the 30s in Lafayette as well as Peru, 49 in Bloomington and 44 in Richmond. Look what happens though when you factor in the wind. And this is why you need to have the jacket handy if you're going to be out and about here throughout the afternoon hours. Wind chills are down in the 20s right now in Peru. 34 is what it feels like in Lafayette. Feels like it's in the mid-40s from Bloomington over towards Columbus. And these wind chills not going to get a whole lot better because our temperatures aren't really going to go up very much more throughout the course of the afternoon hours, maybe a little bit more in northern locations compared to southern locales. But basically, we're going to be in the 40s with some 50s out there, but it will feel cooler with that breeze. Our actual high temperature already occurred today. That happens shortly after midnight. All the moisture's moved off towards the east. This morning we had a few lingering sprinkles around, no longer the case. And these clouds, there's a little bit of a cloud cover out there, mainly thin clouds. That will move out as well, and we will be left with mostly sunny skies here this afternoon. But this evening with the clear skies and the light winds, we will cool off very, very quickly with temperatures in the 40s. So definitely jackets required here this evening. And as the kids head off to the bus stop tomorrow morning and you get ready for work, temperatures are going to be right around freezing. It is cold, 20s and 30s. Wind chills will be even a little bit cooler than that. So tomorrow morning, you'll definitely really need to bundle up. But as we look at the rest of the day tomorrow, unlike today when we started off in the 40s and temperatures aren't really going to move, tomorrow with lower wind speeds, the temperatures will be able to rebound from that cold start back up into the mid-50s. So it's a pretty pleasant day for us on a Thursday. And then as you look at your 7-day planning forecast going forward, the overall trend is the temperatures are going to be at or below normal with the exception of Sunday. Sunday we spike up to about 62 degrees. Saturday morning with temperatures below freezing and some moisture moving in, there could be a few snowflakes. Don't be alarmed. Warmer air works in. There won't be any accumulation, but it could be our first flakes of the season in spots. I know there were some earlier in the month with some of those lake effect snow showers. But again, we transition warmer for the weekend and then back into the 40s for highs, Lauren, Monday and Tuesday of next week.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Well, country music's biggest night of the year is almost here. The CMA Awards are tonight in Nashville. Because of the pandemic, there will be no fans at Nashville's Music City Center. Only the nominees, performers, and their guests will be there. Also, the venue has been set up to resemble the first CMA show there in 1967. Miranda Lambert leads the way this year with 7 nominations. She's now the most nominated female artist in CMA Awards history.
I've done this now for 17 years. It's my life's work. And so to be here all these years later and my peers and people in the business, all the relationships I've made, for people to still support what I'm doing, it means the world to me. It puts a fire under me, honestly, to keep going and do more and do better.
The 54th annual CMA Awards are tonight starting at 8 o'clock right here on WRTV. The show will be hosted by Reba McEntire and Darius Rucker, and be sure to stay with us for the news at 11. Next, it might be the perfect piece of clothing to go alongside your Thanksgiving bird. We'll let you see whether you want to make this part of your wardrobe coming up. Plus, we'll get one final check of your forecast. You're watching the news at noon on WRTV. So you've probably heard of the turducken. It's a deboned chicken inside a deboned duck. It's stuffed inside a deboned turkey. Well, now just in time for Thanksgiving, it's a pair of kicks to match that 3-bird combination that you might be having for your holiday dinner. Nike has partnered with the shoe company Concepts to create the turducken, these high-top sneakers featuring a Thanksgiving football theme with a brown colorway and even, check this out, laser-cut quarter design to look like the turkey feathers. The sneakers even come with a special box that resembles a hot oven, and you can get these extra treats including a pair of Nike Dri-Fit chicken foot socks and even turkey wrapping paper. The turducken sneakers will be available online at the Concepts website starting this Saturday. I don't know about the shoes and I don't know about that meal, Todd. I'll just go with the regular turkey, I think.
How about the green bean casserole? I know you love that.
Oh, yes.
All right, I'll eat all your green bean casserole, Lauren. I like it. All right, outside right now, the sun is shining. Cooler, though, today, right around 50. 55 tomorrow, 48 on Friday. All the rest of the work week will be dry. Little precipitation on Saturday, but Sunday briefly warmer, up to 62 degrees with partly cloudy skies, Lauren.
All right, Todd, thank you. And thank you for making WRTV your choice for news. Come back here and join us for the news at 5 and have a great afternoon.